There we go. Good evening, good morning, good day, whichever it may be for you. Back home with the candles. I like to light. I'm not trying to be culty or anything. I'm talking about some pretty deep spiritual stuff with candles, but it's not because I'm trying to be cult, anything like that. I just like the lighting. It's a softer, more natural lighting than LED light, or sunlight for that matter. All right, those of you that watch my channel, and I lay it all out, my life, and whatever I think may be useful to anybody, when I talk about the spiritual stuff, and I share quite a bit because, quite frankly, I don't see why not. Each of our lives is a testimony, I think, and we'll be gone before we know it. And if we can do anything that may even spur somebody to think or pray or anything possible. I go into these videos prayerfully, unless it's a beer review or I'm playing some music on my guitar, but even then I do. But I definitely going into this topic tonight very, very prayerfully. And I'm not sitting here with my tea and my Bible and my coffee, or tea and candles and Bible, right? I'm already flustered. I'm not sitting here like I'm the authority. Honestly, I don't think, no offense, I don't think any of you are. We're all searching, and most of us use the Bible as our compass, and I do too. But I am open-minded enough to ponder, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes I'll go a little beyond, in ways. And, I always pray to God to direct me, and if I'm doing something wrong, to let me know. When I sometimes kind of walk out on a limb, so to speak, new territory that, could be questionable, whether it's scripturally backed or not. My relationship with God is more important than anything. And I would not want to sacrifice that or ever in any way offend or mislead. I might offend people, but offend God, no. Or mislead people, no. So tonight's topic comes because I've had a few people comment, which I appreciate. So don't take this as me being upset. I just thought they're good questions. It poses a good question. Can you pray someone out of hell? Can you pray someone out of hell? Most of us Christians, I would say no. But then again, for one thing, I don't know definitively if somebody went to hell. I don't know. So for me to pray for somebody that's passed on recently that I love very much, I don't know where they went. It's as much for me, therapeutic for me. It's part of my grieving process, and I turned it into prayer. And I've never prayed for anybody like this. I don't know where. I've had a lot of people pass on in my life, and that's part of life. Someday I'll be out of here, and those that mourn me, they'll be out of here, and so on and so forth, and new people are being born, and just as we're leaving. That's God's way in this life. We're not here, I'm not sure how to answer this. I did have some scripture that I thought helped me. Because I don't think really it hurts to pray for somebody who passed on. And to pray for, if you don't know where they're at. I don't know if they're in a good place, a dark place, or hell, or purgatory, or what. Could be left haunting a house. I don't know. We don't know. I know a lot of people are very rigid to say you go one place or the other. And Protestants particularly are that way. And Catholics leave a little, and not all Catholics believe the same thing either. Where I live, there's Mennonites and Amish all over the place. And some of them practice it very strict, horse and buggy, gaslight, candlelight, and some of them have cell phones and enjoy a drink now and then, electricity, and have cars. So everybody in each faith, we all are our own, just like you're unique. And I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but I want to just talk about it. I don't think it's wrong for me to pray for somebody that passed on. And I asked God, and I did. You better believe it, because it is kind of gray territory for Christians, whether or not we can pray somebody out of a dark place. Hell, I don't know about that. I don't know. But if somebody's spiritually lost because they died suddenly in a bad frame of mind, though they did love Christ at some point in their life, but the pain in the world just beat them down and turned them, into somebody else. We don't know. God only knows us, and God only knows the person I'm talking about. I don't think there's anything at all wrong to pray for somebody you love that passed on, and especially if you're concerned about, like my mom. There was no doubt in my mind where her whole life was serving God, and she was more outspoken about God than me by 10 times. She wasn't perfect, but to me she was like a saint. And I saw my mother. She appeared to me, came to me in a dream, but it wasn't a dream, to let me know she's all right. And she definitely was in heaven. Definitely. Just to let me know, in her own words, that the separation between us, that we love each other. We have a very strong bond, and I believe that her spirit watches after me some. I don't know that for a fact, but it wouldn't surprise me. She's in a good place to kind of advocate for me now, isn't she? She took my hands and looked me right in the eyes. My mom did in this, and said, it has to be this way just for now, the separation between us. And she let go of my hands and she went straight up. I'm a spiritual person, and that's just part of, I think it's important to have our feet on the ground, but then again, we're only here temporary. And we go before God, and our heavenly family is eternal. So which is more important? I'm afraid that I'm going to look like a nut here on earth, and to some people I might look like a nut. It's not important to me. A little bit, yes, but not in the big picture of things. I want to go before God and have Him say, well done, hopefully. And I humbly submit that. I just want to go to be on good terms. I don't need to be I'm not trying to build up a rank in heaven or anything. But you know what I'm saying. So I don't mind laying it out there if it's going to help anybody in any way, and I pray about these things. So I know my mom's soul's in heaven. I've seen it. My friend Brian Hunt was his name when I was a teenager. He died so long ago. I'm getting pretty old. Well, he was a good guy, honestly. He was only 18 when he died, very suddenly. But he wasn't, he smoked and he drank. Not a lot. He wasn't a big party guy. He was kind of an orphan. And he really loved my mother, and he was a good guy, honestly. I don't recall him ever talking about God. But I saw him in heaven, and I told that story. Maybe I'll tell it again sometime. But there's only 2 that I know of that went to heaven because I saw them there. This is just my experience. You can refute it or whatever you want. Now, sadly, I hate to say it, when it comes to hell, there's only one that I think that I know that went there. And this is not an easy subject for me to talk about. It's painful, and it's dark, honestly. But I want to address this because 2 or 3 times people have told me, you can't pray someone out of hell in my recent videos, and one time I was praying for a guy I knew in the Army, a friend of mine. And I can tell you this guy was in some pretty bad stuff. I think deep down he was a good guy, honestly. but he was really into some bad stuff, and some of his friends were even into devil worship. I don't know that he was, but I know two of his closest friends were, his pals were. And that guy died suddenly in the army, and a long time ago, back when I was in my 20s, and 5 or 6 years ago, I've just remember friends, and I do pray for my friends who have passed and my family. But I prayed for this guy, for Jesus to be with him where he was at, and I got hit at that instant with a bolt of pain from the top of my head, through my body, all the way to my feet, that put me on my knees. You know, I'm standing up praying this prayer, Jesus, be where he is at, and wham, I got hit, and it almost put me on the floor, you know, real quick, like a snap pain out of nowhere. I never had that pain before. And I heard a voice say, I cannot be where he is at. I cannot be where he is at. When I asked Jesus to be with my friend, who I knew he was in a bad way, honestly. I don't want to bad talk him, but. So I know that. And then when I pray for this person that passed on a couple of months ago, that I really meant a lot to me. A lot. Capital L-O-T, lot. A lot. I didn't get that. I didn't know that this person was in hell. I don't know if they were. I don't think they would have, because I know that this person went to church with me more than once, and I saw this person praying silently. And I asked this person once, do you pray? And they said, this person told me, I pray all the time. To myself, all the time. Silently. But and we prayed at dinner time, and she did too. And this life hit her hard, and I just had this, I don't know if it might have just been my reaction. A feeling of helplessness that I wished I could have been there to help her in her darkest hour. But I just felt that I needed to pray for her soul, and I did. And I asked God, Lord, is this right for me to pray for this? I don't know. If it is, let me know. And he didn't let me know that it's not. Like, he let me know when I prayed for the one person that I mentioned that I think went to hell. He let me know real quick, wham, with a jolt of pain, saying, I cannot be where he is at. I didn't get this. Quite the contrary. This was one of those points in my life, for me personally, and I've been doing this channel for years now. So, life happens. And this was a very, very hard time for me. I think the hardest time I've been through yet was the death of this person. The sudden death, it still hurts. And somebody I know, not on YouTube, or somebody that knows me, has said more than once, I think you're a bit obsessed with this. I said, what do you want me to do? I'm grieving, and I pray for this person. And I'm sorry if you never loved anybody that much, but I have. And my love just doesn't just stop, because from this channel, I definitely have a belief in the afterlife, though I have just as many questions as the rest of you. And I don't claim to be authority, but I have a pretty solid belief in it. So on my way of thinking, it's possible I may meet up with this person again. If nothing else, I'm going to at least pray that they're happy in a good place. So, and it really stressed me out for a while, and I'm going to do a separate video on that. And it definitely was a spiritual battle. But for those that say, you can't pray someone out of hell, maybe you're right. And I know you could quote some scriptures that definitely seem to indicate that it's permanent, immovable, But I don't think a loving God minds somebody that's heartbroken and grieving and worried about somebody that's suddenly departed from them. I don't think God's going to say, stop praying to me about this person. I know you're heartbroken, but stop it. God isn't going to do that. I don't think so. He didn't. I'll tell you what, he didn't. And I asked him to show me. Let me know if what I'm doing is not right. Teach me how to pray. And he did. And I started out by praying these repetitive prayers. And then I just dropped it, and my dog, he always acts up when I talk on these. And I just started talking to God from my heart, pleading with God from my heart, talking to God, and just kind of opened up and left myself wide open spiritually for any messages, any feelings, just spirit to spirit, pleading for this on behalf of this person. And I'm going to talk about that battle, that spiritual battle, when I get around to it. It's kind of a heavy topic for me. But I finally decided, I'm going to do a scripture here and close. That I got peace of mind through this when I realized, something really good came from this person's death. It spurred me on to a new level of spiritual studies. I mean, I was kind of stagnant, just kind of drifting along, and this person's death really prompted me, and I think maybe a few others, into some deeper, new territory spiritually. And definitely. So I was out reading the Bible Sunday morning, and I come across a verse that I think I was led to. And I'll read it. It's candlelight, which is never easy for me. Oh, I got this. What I'm reading is, sorry, Vern. The New Living Testament. This Bible I've had since I was like 12 years old. St. Michael's School, 6th grade. My Bible. Still have it. All right, so I'm reading Hebrews 7, verse 24. What a powerful advocate we have in heaven. But Jesus lives forever and continues to be a priest, as that no one else is needed. That's Hebrews 7, verse 24. I'll read it again. But Jesus lives forever and continues to be a priest, so that no one else is needed. He is able to save completely all who come to God through Him. Since He will live forever, He will always be there to remind God that He has paid for their sins and His blood. He is therefore exactly the kind of high priest that we need, for He is holy and blameless, unstained by sin, undefiled by sinners, and to Him has been given the place of honor in heaven. That's Hebrews 7, verse 24 through 26. And I'm going to read it again through. And I want you, this is what a friend we have, that we can trust Him with these matters I'm talking about. He's going to hear our prayers. He lives forever. This priest, our priest in heaven, He lives forever. He's not going to say, Tim, I'm tired of hearing you pray for this person. They're gone. Forget about it. Move on. He did in a way, a very gentle way. But I'll tell that when I tell this story. But He did. He did in a very gentle, loving way. But He's not going to be upset if. So I pray how I feel compelled to pray. Because Hebrews 7:24, but Jesus lives forever and continues to be a priest, so that no one else is needed. He is able to save completely all who come to God through Him. Since He will live forever, He will always be there to remind God that He has paid for their sins with His blood. He is, therefore, exactly the kind of high priest we need. For He is holy and blameless, unstained by sin, undefiled by sinners, and to him has been given a place of honor in heaven. So, realizing, like that said, I really think that's had a lot to do with, I was wondering how to cover this topic. But I realized fully, what better place to leave this than with Jesus Christ? What better place than to leave this with Jesus Christ? He heard my prayers. I know he heard my prayers. And he understands my love and my grief because he loves this person too. They may be gone from here, but he loves him. He doesn't forget people. So, I can say my prayers as I feel compelled to do them. And he has quieted me down some, quite a bit. In fact, reassured me, like with these verses. So I can move on, knowing that, it's in good hands. There's no better place than to leave this matter with my concern for my loved one's soul than in the hands of Jesus Christ, because he paid, it said, he reminds God the Father that he paid for her sins in blood, that he paid for them. He cares that much. And it says he reminds God the Father. So I'm praying to God. I've got a wonderful advocate in heaven. His name's Jesus Christ. And my dear friend does too. I'm pretty sure this person didn't reject God, though I don't know. They may have gotten pretty angry. Life got pretty hard for her. I don't know. But there's only one unforgivable sin. I'm pretty certain she wouldn't have ever uttered anything blasphemous against the Holy Spirit. So can you pray someone out of hell? I believe those of you that say the scriptures say pretty much point to the fact that we can't, but I don't know. I told you, I did once. Look, I told you once. I'm just kidding, I'm joking. No, I told you, I'm kind of fumbling through this emotionally. Pray as you feel compelled to pray. I say Hail Marys, I say the Lord's Prayer and other repetitive prayers, but there's another scripture where Jesus said that against people, warning against people that make use of nothing but repetitive prayers. And I'm going to cover that. He said he think that because of repetition, they're being heard. Those prayers are good to act as a guide. They're good to give honor to God, to remind us, like the Lord's Prayer covers all the bases. That, pray to God also right from your heart. But when you pray to God from your heart, leave yourself open, like I'm asking God something very personal about somebody I love very much. You better believe I'm wide open, listening to God for any kind of tugging on my soul or any message to tell me how to pray for this person. Or like the one time I prayed for the person and they let me know real quick with a flash pain that put me right on my knees. This person is in hell. I cannot be there. And there was no doubt in my mind that I never had that happen before or since. And I'm standing there praying, Jesus, because I'm remembering somebody that I knew a long time ago that died very suddenly. And I've talked about this person, but as soon as I said, be with this person wherever they're at, blam. Right when I said that, blam, right all the way through my body, put me, real brief. It was only a flash, but it was enough to almost put me on my knees. And then I cannot be where he is at. So pray as you feel compelled. You're not wasting your time. You're not wasting God's time. There's no time. I don't know. But if you pray something that, leave yourself open spiritually. I think you get what I'm saying. So I pray as I feel compelled, and everything I prayed about this person, some of it's very personal. I'll talk about this more eventually, God willing, when I'm ruminating on it. It's a pretty big topic for me personally. But it is a spiritual battle that I went through, and I hope to cover that. Most of it you've heard, but I haven't put it all together yet. All right. Guess that's it. Yeah, everything I prayed stands. And I thank you, each of you, for your comments. For those that said you can't pray someone out of hell, maybe that wasn't soothing words that I wanted, but I do appreciate your honesty. And, I get what you're saying, too. I respect that. Honestly, I'm not trying to go against the Bible. But I do feel that for me to pray, I've said everything. I'm repeating myself 3 times over. My prayers stand as they are. I pray as I feel compelled. I do ask God for guidance on how to pray for certain matters. And then I pray from my heart, reverently, but from my heart. And then leave myself open for His instruction or whatever may come. All right, thank you all very much for your time. Take care.